How did Chicago get Lori Lightfoot? I wasn't there for that. I claim no responsibility. What appealed to you guys in Chicago? She's got to be the dimmest politician I've ever seen. She has no idea what's going on around her. She doesn't realize what she's saying when she says it. Yet here she is. She's running. I think it's the third largest city in the country. One of the most diverse cities in the country. Which is funny because one of the things she did a while back was she started refusing to speak to anybody who wasn't black.
As a woman of color, as a lesbian, it's important to me that diversity is put front and center.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot defending her most unusual decision to only invite black and brown journalists to her office for one-on-one interviews.
There's some diversity for you. No more reporters, no more white reporters can talk to me. But you guys didn't say anything. Nobody did anything. There's one guy who harasses her, and it's hilarious.
Please, sir, it's 6:30 going on 7. Ask your follow-up question.
Well, my follow-up question is simply this. Many residents in Chicago feel that you've lost control of the city. Now it appears as though you've lost control of the Chicago City Council. Do you owe an apology to the victims of violent crime, the thousands of unsolved shootings and murders and stabbings and random stabbings in the downtown and the south side and the north side and the west side? Do you owe these people any apology?
So once again, sir, I ask you to get your facts right. Crime is not out of control in our city. In fact, crime is on the decline. All of our major indices showed a decline in crime, and our homicides and our shootings year over year are down. That's a fact, sir. And you, sir, I was polite and allowed you to spew your rhetoric, which is offensive to me and others, but I'm trying to be polite and professional and answer your question. But if you want to write your own narrative and irrelevant to what I'm going to say and what the facts are, then we'll just move on to the next reporter.
Because he's really not harassing in the traditional sense. He's just following up, and he won't stop following up.
Mayor Lightfoot, every time I ask you about crime in Chicago, you say crime is down. Real Chicagoans know that that's not true, that crime is up. Violent sexual assault, it's on the news every day, up. Violent carjackings every day, up. Hit and run, 100 a day hit and run of Chicagoans.
Do you have a question, sir?
Yes. The obvious question that I've been asked by real Chicagoans to ask you is, are you lying or are you incompetent?
I doubt very much that that's a question you've been asked
by anyone. That's a real question from real Chicagoans.
So I'm going to try to treat you.
The exact wording.
Sir,
I'm trying to clean it up.
Sir, I'm going to answer the question.
And then I have a follow-up.
The data speaks for itself.
The data.
And on all of the measures that you've just talked about, homicide, shootings, carjackings, down this year, sir. Sorry to disappoint you, but that is the
178% increase in carjackings, violent carjackings in downtown Chicago.
No, you are, sir. Carjackings in our city are down. God,
okay.
You are one of the rudest people I've ever seen. You really are.
I am?
Yeah, you are, sir.
Okay.
You are, sir.
I would think that carjackers would be the rudest people.
And he's demanding answers for the city. So her way of avoiding him was, well, you're white, I won't talk to you anymore. She had an affirmative action clause that she created for her press conferences, to where she's only going to talk to maybe a Hispanic here, a black person there. Hey, if you're from Haiti, or if you're Haitian and you're from Haiti, or if you're Puerto Rican, we'll talk to you, but no more whites. We don't talk to white people here. She's that dumb, and she says it out in the open. You guys hear her. Why does she still work for you? Why didn't you fire her? I remember during the 2-year episode of Fear, where they locked people in their houses and shut down businesses. I'm trying to avoid saying that word. she went and got a haircut. And when they asked her why, she said, because I needed a haircut. Like, I have an image to uphold.
Debbie, getting your roots done is not essential. Your dog doesn't need to see its friends. You can work on your jump shot inside.
And there's so many things wrong with that. But the irony, she missed the whole part where, yeah, other people do too. Other people want to have their image and uphold their own image. She didn't get it. She's so narcissistic. She only understood from her perspective, yeah, but I need a haircut. What am I going to do? I can't go out looking like this. And you look at her, the haircut didn't make much of a difference. It didn't make any difference. Believe me, it made no difference. So the rules not applying to her, it was funny. I felt bad for you guys in Chicago. People still in Chicago just refuse to leave no matter how many times I tell you gotta go. But anyway. So she's sitting there, what do you expect me to do? I'm the mayor. That was the other thing. Her position requires her to upkeep her appearance because she's in the public eye.
I'm the public face of the city. I'm on national media, and I'm out in the public eye. And you know, I'm a person who I take my personal hygiene very seriously. As I said, I felt like I needed to have a haircut. I'm not able to do that myself, and so I got a haircut.
As if when you step outside, you're not in the public eye. But the point was, she didn't want anybody to step outside. That was the point. She knows she has to go outside so she can make sure you're all inside. So when she talked about her image, it really wasn't about aesthetics, because we all can see that that's not a concern. It was more about, I'm special, I'm the ruling class, and when I do go outside, I better not see any of you. But the cameras are still going to be on me, so I have to look a certain way. She should have just said that, and then you guys could have fully understood what she was doing. But just recently, I think last week, she created a new rule that says police cannot chase criminals on foot.
Fundamentally, what this comes down to is having a policy that makes sense. This has now been signed off on by the judge, by the monitor, by the attorney general. So I think it's a very solid plan.
But in the past, critics of the policy have said it keeps cops from doing their jobs.
Yeah, you got to do your job constitutionally.
Training on the new foot pursuit policy is expected to begin in the next couple of weeks and be completed by the end of the summer.
So how are you supposed to catch them? Everything that these people do, these leftist DAs and mayors and law enforcement officials, everything that they do is to hurt the ability to stop crime. What are they doing? What's the end game? What are you guys doing? Lori Lightfoot, CPD, Chicago Police Department, what are you doing? Why don't you want to catch criminals?
You went to Texas. Please get to your question. Well, if I may ask my question, you went to Texas for a gay and lesbian fundraiser. Okay, I've talked to the taxpayers, the voters, the citizens of Chicago, mostly black and brown. They say that they resent that. Will you rescind your violent tweet to call to arms?
No, let him talk. The more he talks, the more stupid he sounds. Please continue.
Will you rescind your call to arms tweet in the light of the mass shooting in downtown Chicago?
So,
as stupid as you think that may be.
So let me just deconstruct the series of lies that you just spewed, as you do every time you come to one of my press conferences.
What are you doing? Why are you protecting criminals when the criminals are preying on your constituents, on innocent people, on law-abiding citizens? Why is that your goal? And it's not just Chicago. I'm just using her because she's stupid, and that she's the one who's most recently done something like this. Because you can see in San Francisco they did the same thing, and now they're getting rid of the DA because they're not prosecuting crimes.
Major retail stores across San Francisco have become crime scenes. Gun violence has doubled this year. Burglaries are at the highest levels in recent history. And car break-ins have spiked more than 150% in parts of the city, according to police records we obtained.
We are seeing repeat offenders and dangerous individuals be released before they should be.
Prosecutor Brooke Jenkins has convicted some of San Francisco's most violent criminals, but says since Chesa Boudin took over as district attorney last year, he's made it impossible for her to do her job.
What is a crime? It's something done against the rules, the law. So if somebody does something against the law and imposes their negative force onto somebody who's innocent, who's done nothing to deserve it, that's a crime. They're saying, they have their reasons. But what we can't do is hold them accountable. They don't want anybody held accountable. That's what this is.
You honestly believe that the city's top law enforcement officer is actually making San Francisco more dangerous?
Yes. Public safety is not his focus. The needs and the rights of victims are being ignored, and that is the problem here.
In protest, Jenkins quit last week. And on the same day, for many of the same reasons, so did her co-worker, longtime prosecutor Don Dubain. Both lawyers say they've joined the effort to recall Boudin.
Yeah, he's a drug addict. It's petty theft. Yeah, but it's somebody's business. Yeah, but they have money. They can afford it. What if it's a mom and pop? It's not a major corporation. It's not Walmart. That hurts these people.
These are families that rely on these jobs. That corner store, that local shoe shop.
One small business ransacked this clothing store in the Bronzeville neighborhood. The owner telling an ABC7 producer that he only has liability insurance, which does not cover his property and belongings.
How many businesses are wondering, am I going to be able to cover this?
Yeah, several. I work with over 200 businesses. So I've probably gotten about 45 emails just this morning.
Stacy Pitts Caldwell oversees the Small Business Development Center at the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce. She tells the I-Team business owners may have also let insurance lapse due to COVID-19. Pitts Caldwell says there are private relief funds starting, and she hopes that more relief can come if a disaster is declared.
They have their reasons. We don't know what their life looks like before they got to that moment of desperation. That's what they're concerned with. They're not concerned with the mom and the pop who own this business, who rely on this business, who keep their house bills on, their utilities on, with the money they make from the business that this person is taking from. The product costs money. They turn around and resell the product for profit. The profit has to pay them. It has to pay their bills at home. It has to pay the bills in the business. It's not just free money. That money is very important to them. They need it. They don't want it. They're not some rich people, buying another yacht. It's their livelihood. So we saw 2 years of protests destroying businesses like that.
Too hard. Don't spray on these people's buildings. That's not our message. We out here standing together peacefully, protesting without any problems. You got people of all races spraying on buildings talking about Black Lives Matter. That ain't even us. You got police officers coming to a peaceful protest spraying gas on us. We ain't even did nothing. Don't let the media fool you. When they see the vandalism on these places, know that it wasn't us.
And there's no concern for the businesses because they have insurance. What does that have to do with anything? How do you know the insurance is going to cover the full costs? And why is that your go-to?
Morgan, get out those policies because the details matter here. Each policy is different, but let's talk big picture. You've seen the video of burned out cars. The Insurance Information Institute says that damage is covered as long as the owner purchased comprehensive policies. Okay, how about the fires or the smashed doors and windows or graffiti on buildings? The Association of Property Casualty Insurers says damage resulting from riots typically would be covered under property policies. When you're driving your car down the street, you don't just willingly get into crashes because you have insurance. You're still supposed to try to avoid it. That's what moving violations are. When the police pull you over, you know what they're doing? They're saying, hey, you broke the rules. That's dangerous. You can cause an accident. Huh, that's interesting. They're trying to avoid insurance even getting involved. You guys on the left are saying, yeah, but they have insurance. That's what it's for. No, that's not what it's for. It doesn't mean you can be reckless and just start crashing into people because you have insurance. Why? Because your premiums go up. You just have to start paying more for the insurance. Insurance companies aren't in business to just give away free money. All the dues that people pay goes into payouts. So they're going to avoid having to pay out. So when the left is so easily saying, yeah, but they have insurance, just let the people riot, let them loot. They can take whatever they want. They're venting. They're frustrated. You don't think the business owners were frustrated during that time? Why is it so one-sided? What is the goal, the end goal to these crazy people saying we don't need to, we like crime essentially. We understand. Criminals are just doing what criminals do. We're better than that. Allow them to do it. No! That makes no sense. So, what is the end goal? San Francisco, when they tell people, well, keep your windows rolled down so they don't break them and steal the stuff that's in your car or steal your car. That way, once they go through your car and see that there's nothing there, you still have an intact car.
We see the aftermath of car break-ins all too often. Windows smashed, glass shattered. But now some people are getting so fed up, they're leaving their trunks open, hoping that'll at least spare them the hefty bill to get it fixed.
Call it the price of parking in the Bay Area, bracing for a break-in.
Everything is broken.
People here at least try to be persuasive, writing, please use the door, or just flat out beg. Please don't break the glass. Nothing inside. Yet it still happens. Sadly, even while you're driving, just waiting for the light to turn green. This smash and grab happened 2 weeks ago in Japantown. But now it's come to this. Trunks left open in broad daylight in Oakland. A witness writing, imagine having to clean out your car and leaving it open, just so people won't break your windows.
That's the thought process. Do you understand how crazy that is? Everybody just leave your front door open so when the criminals come in, take what they want, at least they don't damage your door. That's what they're saying. It appears as if that's what they're saying. I don't understand why their goal is to increase crime. That's the part that's confusing to me. Why are you trying to increase crime, Lori Lightfoot? Whoever the mayor is of San Francisco, Los Angeles. Why are you encouraging homeless people to do whatever they want? To defecate in the street. To steal. You're allowing them to steal up to $1,000 worth of stuff.
Thieves are just becoming a lot more sophisticated, particularly in the amounts that they steal and working in groups together, and then they distribute all of the the stuff they stole, and it's very organized.
It is, and that is something that's new. What we used to see is these robberies would happen and then they would sell them out of the back of a trunk or at flea markets and swap meets. Well, now those flea markets, swap meets, and back of trunks, he said, oh, it's something called the internet. And you don't just sell it here, you can sell it abroad. You can sell it anywhere, and the way that it's set up in the internet, the seller can be anonymous.
What is your goal? What are you really trying to get? That's what I want to know. Is this about funding? Is this about federal funding? Do you get more money the worse your crime is?